Buddy, it's Morbin time. Patch 12.10 has been live for a few days now, and as Riot said, they were going to do a hotfix, buff, and nerf, and bug fix and stuff like that if some champions were horribly overpowered and underpowered. Well, they're doing just that. Some champions are horribly overpowered, and some champions are horribly underpowered. So they're buffing and nerfing some champions. The buffs are to Diana, Draven, Kled, Renekton, Vladimir, Yuumi. The nerfs are to Anivia, Talia, Kayle, VAYNE, and Senna. The bug fix is to Swain, which is actually a large buff. But we're going to go through all of these right now. First up is Diana. Diana's getting some more W base shield. I should mention, all of these are live right now. In your game, these are live. If you're reading this, these are all live. Okay, so Diana is getting base shield on her W, up 25, so that's a decent amount, particularly in the early game, and she's getting more scaling and damage on her E. I didn't really know that Diana was underpowered, but there you go. Draven is getting more kill gold, so instead of 25 per kill, he now gets a flat 40. Then instead of 2 per adoration stack, he's up to 2.5. So Draven will generate more gold on a kill. I'm assuming that's because it's harder for him to get early game kills. In addition, his Q damage is going up by 5 flat, and then another 5% AD. So he's going to be stronger early game, and he's going to be stronger on scaling. Kled, everybody's favorite Kled, is getting his W cooldown reduced by 2 seconds, and he's getting his ultimate cooldown reduced by 20. I want to go over Kled a little bit more. What Riot did, where's it Kled? So Riot nerfed the amount of health Kled gets from his passive, but the thing is that Kled has no sustained damage at all. And even though the base health helps him remount more, the nerf to his Q, because his Q has less healing debuff now from 60% to 50%, and the fact that they nerfed his passive is that was a large nerf to him. You might have noticed early game you'd remount and you'd get like not a whole lot, and so basically Kled just sucked. He didn't have enough damage to kill people. His sustained damage was terrible, and he was terrible, and he was awful, and he was basically an unplayable shit tier piece of shit. Anyway, Renekton's Q cooldown is coming down a flat amount from 8 seconds to 7 seconds. The healing against champions on the base and the empowered is also going up. Riot nerfed, let me look this up here. Riot nerfed Renekton's healing unbelievably hard. So it was 36 to 108. They nerfed it 30 to 78. That's a lot. So they're returning the healing against champions. That's coming back. The healing against minions is keeping, the Q empowered healing against non-champions is down. So the AD ratio still looks like it's going to be a bit lower than it was before, but at least the flat numbers are coming back to where they used to be. And the cooldown is going down by a flat amount from 8 to 7. Will this be enough to save Renekton? Probably not. Will this be enough to save Kled? I'm gonna be honest, yeah, probably not in either one of them. If I have a good, look into those, because I actually played those champions. Renekton is doing fucking terrible right now. He was somewhat sort of playable before this update, but making it harder to kill people early game, nerfing the ever-living crap out of his healing, and pushing games more to the late game where he doesn't scale and kind of sucks, that hurt him a lot, obviously. So I don't understand why they nerfed him so hard. This was kind of obvious, and it's... Look, I'm happy about this patch, but like, Riot, are you dead serious? They didn't think that maybe Renekton shouldn't be nerfed so hard? They nerfed him, like, they nerfed other champions healing by like 10 to 20%. They nerfed Renekton by 30%. What the fuck, Riot? As for Kled, they nerfed his passive. I know what they're going to say. Oh, but it's Hashinshin, blah, 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 blah. Kled sucks. This change will probably help him. You might notice Kled's win rate is kind of okay. He dropped 4% win rate. Kled typically sits at very low pick rate, played only by a couple bunch of one tricks who do okay with him. The fact that they're even struggling to keep him viable right now is bad. But Kled, this buff... Okay, it is a good buff, I'll give it that. Maybe, potentially, possibly, it's enough. I don't know. I'm giving it the benefit of a doubt that maybe this will be enough. For Renekton, I don't think this is enough to take Renekton out of the shitter. but I do think it's enough to make him not horribly... Okay, let me put it this way. I think Kled might potentially be viable, or at least on the cusp of viability. He might be viability adjacent. Probably not, but he might get there. Renekton, on the other hand, is going to go from literally trolling your team to pick him to... Yeah, I mean, he's not literally trolling. Okay, so Vladimir got blown out. Unfortunately, here's the issue with Vladimir. He can't one-shot you anymore, but his sustained damage also sucks. So everyone survived his burst, then just turned around and killed him, and he was basically unplayable trash. The problem... well, I mean, yeah, basically he can't one-shot people, so they just turn around and they beat his ass. I mean, it's bad that he was balanced in that way, that he has to one-shot people, but to Riot's benefit, they are buffing his healing. So they are trying to return some of his healing so that he can play longer fights a bit more and stuff like that. Morbius. Anyway, the... empowered heal against minions, that nerf was in this patch. That's being reverted. The additional AP ratio on his empowered heal, that was reverted. And his Q heal has been buffed a little bit as well. The AP ratio. So Vladimir will heal more now. Will this be enough? I mean, it's going to give him a safer laning phase. It's going to give him better scaling. Will it be enough? Probably not. His Q cooldown is long and it's kind of based on one-shotting people. Yuumi, unplayable trash. Okay, so here's the problem with Yuumi, and you might have noticed this. I mentioned this a lot in my video. Riot went ahead when they were nerfing Yuumi by lowering her AP ratio on her passive and on her shield. Her passive and her shield. By a lot. And that was bad. So she was kind of rendered unplayable. So they're returning the AP ratio to at least her heal. They're reducing the mana cost on her heal. Her shield is still nerfed. Her heal, I think, is her heal base nerfed? No, so her heal has been totally unnerfed. Her passive shield is still nerfed, and her E mana cost goes down. So there you go. Yuumi might be pickable. As for Anivia, now this is something that's been true since patch 10. When they did that mini rework to Anivia, they pushed the cooldown on Anivia's Q. I'm trying to find it here. Okay, so her cooldown originally was 10 to 8. They pushed it 11 to 7. Now it's going to be 12 to 8. So in Season 10, they pushed the rank 5 cooldown on her Q down. They're basically reverting that and also hurting her early game a little bit because she obviously is stronger if her early game is stronger. Also, at some point, I could go find it. Okay, here we go. Well, no, it was somewhere here. Basically, they pushed her E damage up really hard, but because obviously sustained damage is now better, she doesn't need to literally one-shot people to be playable, so they're pushing her E damage down a little bit. Talia has been probably the most broken champion of this patch, and was the most broken champion of the last patch. As you go up the ranks, she gets even more and more broken, effectively becoming a straight auto win at Masters Plus. This now puts Talia at one of the most broken champions of all time. Literally of all time. So, Talia is getting her bonus movement speed from her passive toned down in the late game. She will now need more time to get into her passive. Her slow on her Q has been reduced by a decent chunk. Her damage has been reduced. Her slow on her E has also been reduced. Her stun duration has been reduced. Will this be enough? No, actually, I don't think so. Even though this is a lot of nerfs, you have to remember, Talia is currently one of the most broken champions in League of Legends history. I think this will take the edge off, and she'll go down to being just regular broken. But, I mean, let's be honest, where do you think this is going to go? I mean, maybe 54% win rate, maybe 53 tops. She's going to need another nerf, so this is not enough. Kayle! Okay, so Kayle, and this starts champions that I'm a little bit uncomfortable on, because I'll go through it now. Kayle and VAYNE and Senna are all getting their health nerfed. My opinion on this is that it's not a good thing after the durability patch to start immediately removing durability. I get it, like, it might even be a good idea, but it makes me a bit sketchy. Like maybe Riot's gonna start dialing back the durability of other champions now. And if the entire point of the durability update was to add more durability, then stick with that, right? Because now when you start dialing back the durability, we end up in a situation where, I mean, in 5 years, are we gonna have to do durability update part 2 where we give everyone more stats? That's just my concern, okay? Anyway, Kael's health growth is being nerfed by 7. Her magic resist is going down to 22 at level 1, which is 8 below average, and her E, missing health damage, is going down. Let me be clear here. Giving Kael missing health damage on her E was a terrible idea that has pushed her laning phase for a very long time to be way too strong. Let me explain this. If minions attack you, Kael can E for bonus damage from that minion damage. And because her E is just ranged and is an auto attack and is undodgeable, this means the longer the laning phase goes on, the better Kael will do. Because she can magnify the amount of minion damage, she can play back, and it becomes harder and harder to engage on her and push her out of the early game. In my opinion, they should have changed this missing percent health damage to something else at some point, because it's just made her way too powerful early game. And the fact that it's now been nerfed, it's now all the way down to 7 to 11%, plus 1.5% per 100 AP. They've nerfed it so much, it used to be 10 to 20%. It's literally down to almost half of what it used to be. In my opinion, this was just a really dumb change to add to a late game scaling champion that they should have a strong laning phase ability. There are late game scaling champions who have strong laning phase abilities, but the thing is, most of the time they're defensive. They can't start bullying you with them. If anyone's played this game, you've probably noticed that Kael has historically had issues with being way too good early game for a supposed late game champion, often very frequently bullying people and winning the lane against most champions until she gets destroyed with nerfs. So yeah, VAYNE's base HP is coming down 35, and her percent health damage is going from 14% at max rank to 12%. To the shock of nobody on human history, and a change that should have happened day 1, VAYNE is getting her true health damage nerfed. Shocker! Senna's base HP is going down by 30, and her passive damage is going from 1 to 10% health damage to, or say, from 1 to 16% health damage to 1 to 10% health damage. So Senna is very likely not going to be nerfed enough by this. I mean, she's mind-numbingly broken. With the longer games and the longer fights, she can stack way more souls, which means she got significantly buffed. This change, 30 HP and a little bit of percent health damage, that's not fixing a champion who is currently extremely dominant. It will take a little bit of the edge off, but I mean, what are we going to look at? Maybe at best she drops 1.5% win rate. She'll still be the most picked champion in support with a high 52, nearly 53% win rate. So nothing to say about that. As for Swain, okay, I need to explain this one because this is so stupid. Swain had a bug where only his rank 1 ult mattered. His rank 2 and his rank 3 ult didn't do anything. So I'm gonna just be blunt about this one. The fact that Swain has maintained even a 51% win rate when his ult doesn't rank up, that says something about society. Yeah. I think actually Swain will be quite better, and with his pick rate continuously going up, and his win rate will now be going up from that one. Yeah, Swain's going to be doing quite good, which is just shocking to me. It's shocking to me that Swain is still doing good with his ult not working. Earlier, was that today or yesterday? So yesterday, so right after I put out my video, by the way, Shyvana got her Q bug fixed. Her Q does not strike 3 times now in her dragon form. It now only strikes twice, which fixes the Shyvana bug. And if I go look this up, yeah, Shyvana's win rate in the jungle has gone down considerably since that. I think she's going to sit more at a comfortable 51%, maybe. We'll see how that goes. I think she's still playable, but it hurt her a little bit more than I thought it was going to hurt her. She was excelling on that a lot. And we can see Shyvana in top has dropped a considerable amount since then. So Shyvana top's basically gone. Shyvana jungle will probably survive. But other than that, that's a hotfix. That's what we got for this big update. Everyone make sure to like. Everyone make sure to subscribe. And as always, go down into my description and join my Patreon so I can do more videos like this and actually get money, because YouTube often DMCAs and removes all the money from my stuff. Thank you all, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye, everybody.